Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Rennie and his committee for this great honor of being inducted into the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, and it is humbling to be included with these great players, coaches, and the immortal Yogi Berra. I want to thank my wife Laura for her love and support, my family and friends that are here, and all the players that I've coached throughout my career. Now, I was born in Brooklyn, the Fort Greene section, which was one block up from the Brooklyn Navy Yard and a 10-minute walk to the Brooklyn Bridge. And growing up in that neighborhood back in the 50s, we all played the city street games, including stickball, punchball, stoop ball, handball, and of course we played baseball. The year was 1955. I was 8 years old, a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and that's when my love for baseball started. Now, some of my friends were also Dodger fans. We did have a couple of Yankee fans. We let them in. And we had one Giant fan that loved Willie Mays and his basket catch. And as kids, we would practice that catch by throwing a Spalding in the air. And we were lucky we used a rubber ball because that ball hit us in the head more than we caught it. And that summer, my father took me to my first Dodger game at Ebbets Field against the St. Louis Cardinals. We took the trolley car up to Ebbets Field, and back then, taking a trolley car anywhere was a great experience. But nothing could compare to seeing Ebbets Field come alive with the color when you first walked in as a kid. Like everyone says, you see the green grass in the infield, the outfield, the colors of the outfield signs. And Ebbets Field had a Schaefer beer scoreboard. And in the name Schaefer, the H and the E would light up during the game to signify a hit or an error. And the players and the different colors of the uniforms. We didn't have color TV back then, so it felt like I was watching Technicolor. And I was in heaven. Now, my grandfather also took me to a couple of games that summer. And in October, when the Dodgers beat the Yankees in that World Series, me and my grandfather walked down to Flatbush Avenue, and we watched the parade. And then we moved over to the reviewing stand. And we watched as the boys of summer came alive. As one by one they started to speak. Carl Erskine, Jackie Robinson, Johnny Padres, Duke Snyder, Roy Campanella, Junior Gilliam, Pee Wee Reese, Gil Hodges. And near the end, they introduced two rookies, Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax. And I saw it all. And little did I know I was watching so many future Hall of Famers. I had a feeling of pride inside that I thought would never end. But 2 years later, I saw the old-timers in my neighborhood crying in the street, my grandfather being one of them, when we heard the news the Dodgers were leaving Brooklyn and moving to Los Angeles. Now, fast forward 32 years. It's 1987. My love for baseball is stronger than ever. And I'm reading the paper one day and I see an ad in Newsday for a coaching position at Holy Trinity High School in Hicksville, Long Island. Now, I had a little experience as a Little League coach, so I had enough nerve to go in, take the ad. I interviewed, got the job, and stayed for 30 years. And during those 30 years, I met some great people. Outstanding people. A lot of them are in this room tonight. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention two in particular that had a direct impact on my coaching career. Leading off for me would be Brother Robert Kent, St. Francis Prep's legendary coach. Brother won his 700th game this past year. And Brother took me under his wing early on and taught me the ins and outs of becoming a varsity head coach, mentoring me on organizational skills needed in handling multi-level teams. Brother Robert was an enormous help in getting me started on the right path of my coaching career, and I'm forever grateful to him. Then there's Dan Gallagher, Fordham University. And everybody here who knew Danny knew he was as gruff as they come. But under that gruffness, there was a heart of gold that few people saw. Somehow he took a liking to me. One day early in my career, he hands me a folder with all his individual and team drills. I used those drills for the next 30 years. They became the foundation of my program. And through those years, Danny gave 6 of my players Fordham University baseball scholarships. He was a great friend to me and to Holy Trinity. And I believe with their help, I was able to achieve the many milestones in my career. But more importantly, seeing so many of my players receive baseball scholarships to further their education was very gratifying. And near the end of my career, my athletic director, Chris Harder at Holy Trinity, gave me 2 honors. In 2017, my final year, he retired my number 12. And in 2023, Chris nominated me for the Catholic High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. And I love him for that. Now, tomorrow's Veterans Day, and I want to thank all the veterans in this room for their service. Cops, firemen, EMTs, and there's 2 veterans that I want to acknowledge that are special in my life. The first one is my father, Daniel Malandro. Now, during World War II, my father was a tank commander in the 4th Armored Division in General Patton's 3rd Army. And during the Battle of the Bulge, his tank was hit by enemy fire. My father and 2 of his crew members survived. They had a crew of 5, but were captured by the Germans. Incredibly, 5 days later, they escaped and they continued to fight to the end of the war. Now, my father taught my brother Danny and I the game of baseball at a very early age. And I wish he could have been here tonight to see his son get this award. So in lieu of that, I want to dedicate this honor to my dad. The second veteran is sitting at my table number 22, with his wife, Mary Ann. Now, we've been friends over 70 years. Went to grammar school together. He graduated St. Francis Prep, by the way, when he was in Brooklyn. And the other story is he was that Giant fan I mentioned earlier. I call him the General. He's in the Vietnam War. I'd like to introduce my friend, Brigadier General Pasquale Alicia. So once again, I want to thank Rennie and his committee, in particular Victor Feld, Lou Santos, Dom Scala, for giving me this prestigious honor. I feel both proud and humbled. It is the culmination of my coaching career. Thank you all very much.